Welcome to the Pressure Point Dojo here on Channel Fight. Episode 10, I'm Chris Thomas, your host. I'm the chief instructor of the Kyushu Jitsu Kenkyukai. Continuing our discussion and analysis of the principles of Tuité. Tuité is the joint manipulation aspect of the classical Okinawan martial arts. We're going to look at the principle called creating a base and a principle called utilizing mechanical advantage. We're also going to spend some time on a sort of practical aspect, how to utilize one of the most valuable tools in a self-defense arsenal. This particular episode has a lot of the presence of the great master Wally J. Professor Wally J was the founder of Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu and a really impressive individual. So let's start there, heading into the master class. Creating a base was also one of the key concepts that comes to us from Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu. As I start to put pressure on, he's trying to escape, right? So as he goes to escape, I put something in the way. Now this could be the floor, this could be a wall, but that means he can't escape. And so now there's no place for his body to go. The advantage to doing this is twofold. First, if I send him flying, then maybe I want to hit him because I like hitting people and he's already gone by me. But if I'm here, now super easy to just drill him with something, any technique I want to use. Creating a base. By the way, the base, I'm showing the hand because that's very easy. That can be my body this way. This frees my hand up for attacking him. It can be my leg. In other words, I can do this. I can create a base and kick him with the same leg. It can be anything I want to use that allows there to be a stop in movement so he cannot keep going, so his body can't escape. So that's the first thing about creating a base. Here's the second thing. If you do it sharply, it adds pain to the system. So I'll show you what I mean. I go like this. I create the base. There's pain. I go like this. There's more pain. Now, I didn't actually create that much more bending or twisting in the joint, but it created an extra shock in the system. And so the rule that we work with is, when you create a base, don't do it nice, do it with some smack. So that means if I have a finger technique here and I bring my leg up strongly, I get this really beautiful reaction. And that's just a front kick. So in other words, I can utilize normal aspects of a basic technique to add pain through the system. You can create a base with anything provided you understand where the part of the body is that's trying to escape. On this movement here, the part that's trying to escape is the elbow. See, that's where the escape is happening. The elbow is going down or the elbow is going away. So that's the place where I have to base. I base here at the elbow. Okay, so if I'm doing an armbar and I want to create a base with an armbar, the part that's trying to escape is the shoulder. It's up in here. So the way I create the base is right there. So again, I'm just picking my leg up like I'm going to do a kick. But that could be the floor, that could be a wall, that could also be my own stance. I have a rule, I never like to put my foot in front of my opponent's foot because it's too easy for him to kneel down on my leg. So this is just so you can see it. But as I'm going down, see how his shoulder is coming right here into my leg. So now my leg can become the base for the armbar. Understanding the concept of basing, of creating a base, is a way for you to find all sorts of places that you can make additional contact with somebody and control them, keep them from going away, keep them where you want them. And so creating base is one of the really significant and important techniques that we do. And it's a key principle in Small Circle Jiu-Jitsu. Professor Wally J and my teacher were doing they would call this a double impact seminar, so the two of them would go somewhere together and teach. And my teacher was teaching a particular Tuité technique, which, by the way, if you're familiar with karate, comes from a move that looks like this. But it's not actually, we were always told this is blocking, and it's not blocking at all. And Professor J was standing over to the side, just sort of watching. And I at the time was second or third, I think a third dan. And Professor J walked over to me because I was the nearest guy in the room. And he said, now this is important. We're talking about one of the world's greatest martial arts instructors and a peer of my teacher, and he walked over and he said, "Can you show me how to do that?" For me, the takeaway was, you're never too old or too far into the martial arts or too advanced in your knowledge or whatever to learn from everybody around you. He modeled that behavior, and I personally respect that so much. All right, let's head back into the masterclass. The next principle is called mechanical advantage. This principle has two main concepts to it. The first is to find the weakest direction for attacking, whatever Tuité technique I'm doing, what is the weakest direction to attack? If I put the pressure on here, I'm going to do what we call a wrist turn press, and other people call a center lock, sometimes called a Nikyo in some styles. If I go to put this pressure on, I can maybe overcome this, but I'm right in front of him, and this is a difficult place for me to do it. But if I move to the 45-degree angle, it works better. So 45-degree angle is the angle that is best for me. By the way, you can also, if you're lazy, you can kick him in the leg and let him go to the 45-degree for you and create the same effect. So to first understand mechanical advantage, you have to understand how you're trying to find where the opponent is weak. Every joint technique has a weak direction. So some of the learning process is to begin to understand where a joint is weak and where a joint is strong. Armbar is strong anytime the shoulder is in an idealized position. If I can move the shoulder out of its joint, so if I can get the shoulder to raise, now this is very easy for me to apply the joint technique. Even without a pressure point, I can just apply the joint technique. A different way to do it it's the same kind of thinking, but it has to do with positioning this way. Right now the shoulder's out of joint, here the shoulder's in joint. So as soon as I get over here, then this is a very weak position for his shoulder. So again, if I try to apply the armbar here, not so much luck, but if I get it over here, easy. And I'm not using the pressure point. All I used there was two-way action. So that means that for me to apply mechanical advantage to somebody, sometimes I have to move. I have to move to where they're weak in order to go ahead and do the technique. Another meaning of mechanical advantage has to do with myself. I want to work my technique where I am strong and where I'm effective. If I'm here, see how far away I am from my body? And I go to apply pressure, it does not work very good. But if I do the same technique right here, ready? Okay, see? This is a very strong place for me. My shoulders are down and relaxed, my elbows are down and close to my body. Very, very easy. I'll show you this again with a different technique. Let's do so what we call palm turn. One of the common entry methods is palm to palm this way. And it's not really palm to palm, it's actually palm to fingers. And the other hand comes here, but can you see how my elbows are up in the air like this? So this is not mechanical advantage. But if I bring my elbows into mechanical advantage, then it works. So just by going from this not great position to a good position, the technique is super effective and very easy to do. You're also starting to see me apply a little piece of mechanical advantage that has to do with how I can use my own body. So let me show you that. Let's say that he's grabbed me. This bend here and this bend here are the same bends we see when applying a palm turn. So I can utilize that concept and I can do a palm turn right here, but I can do it by turning my body, not by using my hands. So I'm just going to squeeze here. This is a great example of mechanical advantage because it's just body mechanics. You see, all I did was step, so I was in a good position, and turn. That's all I did. It was very easy for me to do that, but I was utilizing my body in a very efficient way. So mechanical advantage has those two concepts to it. Put the opponent in the position where they're weak. Put yourself in the position where you're strong. Bread and turkey alone make a mediocre sandwich. I mean, let's be honest, if you want a really good turkey sandwich, yeah, you gotta have bread and you gotta have the turkey, but you wanna add good stuff to it. some cheese, some salami, some crispy onions, something just to kind of bring it up, add some spices to it, and then it's a delicious sandwich. Pressure point fighting is the same way. Yeah, if you want to learn where a point is and like, well, this is the point and this is a touch point, or here's a point, it's a hit point, you might have some success, you got something, but the truth is, for the art to be really wonderful, you have to have the nuance. You got to have the little subtle details, and that's what I teach in Masterclass, is all of the little subtle details.
Masterclass with Chris Thomas is an extensive library of in-depth video instruction covering Ishinryu Karate, Ryukyu Kempo, Tai Chi, Okinawan weapons, and so much more. It's a great value at $399 per year. But as a viewer of the Pressure Point Dojo, you can subscribe for only $119 per year. That's an amazing 60% discount. Just use the promo code DOJO when you subscribe. That's DOJO in all capital letters.
Don't forget to use the promo code DOJO. And remember, delay between the time you finish your subscription and I can activate your account. And that can take a while. I apologize for that, but trust me, it's worth the wait. So the use of finger techniques, attacking fingers, is really, really valuable. In particular, because it allows much smaller individuals to work against much larger individuals. So let's take a look at some basic concepts around that and head into the masterclass. We talk about, taking hold of the finger. We may even say grab the finger or catch the finger or something like that. And when you get people doing basically this, just kind of holding onto it like that. So wherever it is, they're like just kind of grabbing onto the finger. What's actually happening then, if you look at it from this side, is my fingers are going between my opponent's fingers this way, and then I'm trying to do the technique. The way to make a finger lock work is you enter with your thumb, we would say. So I put my thumb between fingers. I reach with my thumb so that my fingers are actually pointing in the direction of my opponent when I'm first catching that hand. And then I'm going to turn this way, like this. See? So if I come to the other side, I'll take 3 fingers here. I come in with my thumb extended, and then I point my fingers towards him, and I make just kind of a C-shaped movement. And so my hand comes in, points, rotates this way. So it's a really simple action like this, but it starts here. It doesn't start here, like I'm trying to peel it off. Even if I was trying to peel something off, which is never a good idea, people see that finger and they start to grab it and they start to pull it back like this, peeling the finger off, and you don't really get anything. You have to, if you end up with this kind of a position, not a great position, but if you just push it back into your own body after you bend it back, then you'll get a reaction. We call that creating a base. But if when I'm going for that finger, I don't reach and think of grabbing the finger with my fingers, I reach and fit my thumb in there, now I have tremendous control. Right? So I'm no longer thinking about peeling it off. Do you see where this index finger is? So you see, this finger touches right there. I just move this finger down right there. That's my pressure point touch. And then I'm not really thinking about this so much as I'm about this. I'm actually pushing. I'm pushing here. So yes, I'm going back with his finger. Mike is really flexible, so I can really bend him back. But I'm pushing. You see, I actually am digging my finger into that space. This is there's 8 points called a Bagier, something like that in acupuncture. They're right in here. And I'm just pressing on that as I take that finger back. Do you see how I'm basically, my thumb is still pointing right at him. Whereas if I grabbed in this way, if I grab and I pull, it's very, see how my elbow's coming up, my shoulder's coming up? This is very hard for me to do. So then I'm starting to do stuff like this and pull, and it's very easy for him to get out of this. So this idea of entering by sticking your thumb between fingers, thinking about your thumb, not about your fingers, whenever you're grabbing. And this is going to apply even, so he's choking me here. I reach over, oh, I'm going to get that little finger. So you see my fingers now grabbing his little finger and bending back. But look, there goes my thumb. My thumb is always kind of entering into that space. Okay? And see, I've actually transferred the pressure now to my thumb. So my fingers are now completely off. And I'm doing that in part so you can see it. And that, see that little bend of my thumb takes his finger in that direction, and that's what accentuates the pain. So if you're having trouble with your finger technique, look for that. And then the way to practice it is let your partner hold up 2 or 3 fingers, and you take your hand, this shape right here, and go like this, and stick it in there. And you want to get high as you can on the fingers, because the lower you are on the hand, the harder it is to work. High on the fingers, point your fingers at your partner, let your thumb come in through here, then don't even think about making a fist or holding on. Think almost just about, like, pretend there's a doorknob and you're turning the doorknob. It's a big doorknob. You grab the doorknob and you turn the doorknob. Just think of it that way, and that'll give you something. Now you can see what's happening. See how he moves? Oh, look, I just created a base. Oh, look, that's Moro Teioke. You see how this works? This is so simple. But you begin this way. This also will help you get what we call a palm turn. So the most fundamental entry on a palm turn is right there. You take the V shape of your hand and you just intercept your partner's hand, and you don't try to do anything because the V shape forces these 2 fingers to kind of go behind the other 2. Once that happens, you just squeeze them together and you start to break the structure of the hand, and then all you have to do is rotate this direction. And down he goes, up, and now he's escaped that, and I'm too far away to put that kind of rotational pressure. So now I'm going to turn just like I would with a finger technique, only I have all of his fingers. But it still works. Once he's in motion, it's very easy to start just kind of turning your hand this way and that way and this way and that way. So applying that concept and doing that will improve your finger techniques and also some of your other tuité. So just be mindful of how you reach in and how you grab hold.
Hello, my name is Stan Kononov, and I practice martial arts for the last 20 years. I start from the karate, from the Japanese Shotokan karate, and I was always amazed why we do kata and we do bunkai and we do kihon in one side, and on the other side we never use it in fight, we never use it in sparring, so I didn't see connection between kata, bunkai and real life, and that was my biggest issue with karate. So after I practiced boxing, I practiced kickboxing, Jeet Kune Do, Filipino martial arts. And one day, it was December last year, I met Grandmaster Chris Thomason in one of his seminars. And after 5 minutes of talking to him about my problems with karate, and he showed me some techniques, I'm like, oh my God, that's how it has to be. That's missed link between kata, bunkai, and real fight. I came home the same evening. I subscribed for his masterclass. It's a tons of video. It's a thousands. I don't know. I can say 1,000 hours, but it's like 1,000 hours of thinking and practicing. And I could place my hand on my heart and say, for almost 20 years of practice, my martial arts, it's one of my best and most wonderful investment in the martial arts, because the level of knowledge is just incredible. If you want to learn martial arts in depth, I highly recommend subscribe for KJK Masterclass. And thanks again, Grandmaster Chris Thomas, because you opened just entire new world for me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Pressure Point Dojo here on Channel Fight. Till next time, I'm Chris Thomas. Thanks for watching. Now go train.